Okay, start recording. Okay, so we are recording the session. So guys, I'm here in my assignments in my lab, and I'm going down my test review, and I actually started doing it myself because I wanted it when I came in here today, I wanted to make sure that I could answer your questions. So if you notice, I haven't done all of them, but I did a whole bunch already, right? And so even if I was a student, even if I decided to quit here, I probably wouldn't, but because I'm barely passing with a 71, but at least I know I've already answered a bunch of these questions. But what I want to ask you guys is, does anybody have any questions out of the review that you guys want to ask me? Any questions at all? That's what we're doing today. $40? Okay, so let's take a look at number 40. I haven't done 40 myself. So let's take a look at question number 40, you guys. Okay, so it says, using the distributive property of multiplication over addition, we can factor x squared plus xy into x times x plus y. So what we're going to do, we're going to use the distributive property here. Okay, guys, I tell you what we're going to do. Because, again, one thing I want to mention, y'all, I told you guys that when I made the test, I picked 27 questions. And I picked those 27 questions directly from these 46. And so let me see if I can do something here. Boom, 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 boom. Add a page. Here we go. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that particular problem. Now, one thing I want to mention is, like I said, I copied and pasted directly from, I took questions directly from the review. So you can see, guys, this is my question number 40. Now, I don't know if your question number 40 has the same exact problems, or it's slightly different. But the idea here, it should be really similar to what you have on your number 40. So let's take a look. Let me see if I can go ahead and do this. So what we want to try to do here, y'all, is we want to try to factor this thing, okay? So xy plus y squared. Okay, guys, I'm going to break this down into like really slow motion. Like I said, I know most of y'all in this class really want to teach. Most of you guys said you guys want to teach elementary school, like I'm guessing kinder through maybe 4th or 5th grade. But this class actually preps you to teach anything actually from kinder to 8th grade. And if you do end up teaching junior high, these are some of the problems that you would end up seeing. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to break this down a little bit more. I'm going to write this as xy. Remember, y squared just means that there are two y's there, right? Now, y'all, the distributive property just says, look, I want to look at this piece right here, and I want to look at this piece right here. Do you all agree that they both have a y? I know this one has two of them, but they both have at least one y. So what we can do, you guys, is we can take those y's out, and I'm going to put just a y in front. Now, if I take the y away from here, I'm left with an x. And if I take the y away from there, I'm left with a y. And that's how we do factoring by the distributive property. Because if I were to multiply this together, y times x would give me that xy, and y times y would give me two y's, or the same thing as y squared. That's in essence what I'm doing. And again, if I was teaching this to a 7th grader, this would be my approach. This is how I'd sort of break it down for them, okay? So look, I'm going to do the same thing for part B. It says xy plus x. So I'm going to write that right here, xy plus x. Now, y'all, the only thing I'm really going to do here is I know that the number in front of that x is really a 1, okay? So then I would do the same thing here. I would say, look, they both have the letter x. So if I take that letter x away and put parentheses, if I take this x out, I'm still left with a y. And if I take this x out, I'm still left with a +1, right? And that right there is what we're looking for. Does that make sense? And how I would explain this to somebody who is in, say, 7th grade or something like that, in terms of how I'm breaking it down? Okay, so look, we had a third part, part C, which was a squared b plus ab squared. Okay, so let me write that down here. So a squared b plus ab squared. Again, y'all, I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing before. It means there's one a, but there's two b's, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what I have right here, and I want to say, okay, do they both have at least an a? Yeah, they both got an A, right? What else do they both have? They both have a B, right? So if we take away this AB and this AB right here, we're going to have an AB in front, okay? And if we take the AB away from here, we're still left with that A. And if we take the AB from there, we're still left with that B. And again, that's how we do the distributive property, right? That's factoring by the distributive property. So we're kind of going backwards. When we teach this stuff to junior high kids, right, whether it's 6th or 7th grade or 8th grade, we normally start from here and we start to multiply. And then we end up with this as our answer. But then later on, we say, okay, well, if this was my answer, how do I go backwards, right? Because that's one of the fundamental things in algebra is how to go backwards as well. Okay. All right, good question, good question. Guys, let's come back over here. Let's look at our review. Let me see. Anybody else have any questions at all? I'm happy to answer any of them, y'all. I'm sorry, which one? 10. Let's take a look at number 10. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a try again problem, guys. So it just gives me a new problem here, okay? So again, I'm going to do the same thing we're doing before. I'm going to do a little copy and paste, and I'm going to see if we can't figure this thing out, okay? So I'm going to use my truth table here, guys. Okay, paste, here we go. Okay, so in remembering, in truth tables, the one thing I want to emphasize, y'all, is that that little symbol right there is not P, okay? So what that's telling me what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the truth value for P. So if P is currently true, then not P would have to be false. And if P is currently false, then not P would have to be true, right? Okay. Now, the second part says not of not P. So what is that telling me to do? That's telling me go back and change those values. So that used to be false, now this is going to be true. And if that used to be true, now that's going to be false, okay? So look, let's see if that was going to work out here. So let's come back over here. Okay, so if this was true, now it's false. And if this was false, now it's true. And if this is false, then the negation of that's going to be true. And if this is true, the negation of that's going to be false. And I'm going to go chickadee check. All right, we got that part. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here, y'all. We're going to do a little copy and paste. And we're going to see if we can't figure this piece out. Okay. So let me come back over here. Let's do the same kind of thing. Okay, so again, if P is true, not P is going to be false. And if P is false, not P is going to be true. Okay, now the second part that we have here, y'all, is this one right here. It says P or not P, okay? Now, this is the or statement. Guys, what I'm going to do, this is question number 10. Let me come back over here to my Blackboard page, and I'm trying to figure out when we did this. Chapter 2, I want to say. So I'm going to open up my notes for chapter 2. Yes, this is where we did some of this stuff here. Okay, so guys, first thing I'm going to look at here, and again, one thing I want to mention, you guys, you can use your notes for the exam, okay? I probably should have said that you can use your notes, but definitely use your notes, okay? So look, guys, what I'm going to do right here is I am going to do another little copy and paste right here. Okay, copy this guy. Oh, where are we? Here we go. And let's paste this right there. Okay, so the first thing I'm looking at is I'm looking at the or statement, okay? So guys, notice this is my or statement, right? Because it's the V. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. If the first one is true and the second one is false, if the first one is true and the second one is false, what does your statement tell me it's going to be? It's going to be true, right? Okay. And if the first one is false and the second one is true, if the first one is false and the second one is true, still going to be true there as well, right? And that's all I'm really doing here, okay? And now look, there's a second part. It's the upside down V, right? So let me come back to my notes right over here. Where are we? Here we go. This is the upside down B. This is the and statement, okay? So let me do a little copy and a little paste. So let's get this guy going. And let's paste this guy right there. Okay, so now I'm looking at the and statement, which is this part right here, which is exactly what I got right there. Okay, I'm going to come back, y'all. If the first one is true and the second one is false, if the first one is true and the second one is false, the whole thing is false, right? Okay, and then if the first one is false and the second one is true, if the first one is false and the second one is true, it's still going to be false, okay? So look, let's come back to our problem right here. And we said that was true, the next one was false, so this one was false, this one was going to be true. I believe for the ors, they were both true, and for the ands, they were both false. Okay, so we're going to check. Okay, we're doing good so far. Okay, now it says the statements P and not P. So guys, what they're talking about here is they're saying, I'm going to copy and paste this one more time. Let's copy that. Okay, here we go. See if I can paste it right there. Okay, what they're talking about is they're asking me to do a little stare and compare. Look at this one here and look at this one here. Do they have the same truth values? Yeah, they do, right? Since they have the same truth values, they are going to be logically equivalent because their truth values are what? The same, right? I'm going to go check. Okay, there we go. And then what about these two? So now they're telling me, now they're telling me, take a look at these two. Okay. So let's come back over here. Okay, if I look at those, are those the same? No, they're not, right? So then we're going to say these are not logically equivalent because they are not the same, right? Not that they're both false, not that they're both true, but they're not the same. I'm going to check my answer, and we got it. Okay. Good question. Any other questions, y'all? Don't be shy. Yes, ma'am. Number 6. Let's take a look at number 6. Okay, look, I haven't done 6 either. Okay, so let's take a look at number 6, and let's see if we can't figure it out. Let me just do that a little bit. Here we go. Okay, let's copy here, and let's come back this way, and let's paste this guy right over here. Okay, so it says, one night the temperature fell 15 degrees between midnight and 5 a.m. Okay, by 9 a.m., the temperature had doubled from what it was at 5 a.m. By noon, it had risen another 10 degrees to 32 degrees. What was the temperature at midnight? Okay, so we're trying to figure out what the temperature was at 12 a.m. Okay. What other times do we know? We know at 5 a.m., right? I'm just writing down the times that we have. We have 5 a.m. We also have what other time? 9 a.m. And then from 9 a.m., what's the next time we have? Noon, right? So that's going to be 12 p.m. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Now, let's see if we know the temperatures at any of these times. Look what it says. At noon, it had risen another 10 degrees to 32 degrees. So we know that at noon, it was 32 degrees, right? And then it told me that from the temperature before that, it had risen another 10 degrees. So if I wanted to find the temperature at 9 a.m., if it had risen 10 degrees, what would that mean the temperature was at 9 a.m.? How would I figure that out? We would do what? Subtract, right? We'd subtract 10. Wouldn't that give me 22 degrees? Okay. Now, look what it says. From 9 a.m., the temperature had doubled from what it was at 5 a.m. So at 9 a.m., if it was 22 degrees and it had doubled from what it used to be, what would the temperature have been then? 11, right? Because 11 times 2 would give me 22. Okay. Now it says one night the temperature fell 15 degrees between midnight and 9 a.m., right? So it used to be, it was a certain temperature and then it fell 15 degrees to get to 26. I'm sorry, to get to 11. So what would the temperature have been at midnight? Wouldn't we have to add 15 degrees to get what? 26, right? Oops. Come on, pen. 26 degrees. And there we go, right? So all I'm doing here, y'all, is I'm just working backwards, right? And it says, what was the temperature at midnight? We would say the temperature was 20. Why is it not working? Here we go. The temperature is 26 degrees, right? So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to type in 26. I'm going to check it, and there we go, right? So again, I'm just working my way backwards, right? I'm reading from what it's telling me, and I'm working my way back. Okay. Any other questions anybody has about anything, y'all? 41, of course. Let's take a look at 41. Have I done 41? I did it, but let's do it again. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go similar question. Okay, so guys, I'm going to do a little copy and paste right here again. Okay, and let me copy this piece right here. And let's paste this guy right there. Okay, and let's see if we can figure this thing out. Okay, so you guys, when I'm doing this problem here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fill in the missing spots, right? Okay, so we're going to just do some multiplying. Okay, question, 4 times 8 is how much? Anyone know? 32, right? So look, here's the 2. We're going to carry the 3, right? Now, next thing, guys, we're going to have to figure out what number is going to go in here. So we're going to say 4 times something plus 3 is going to end in a 5, okay? So look, y'all, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go 4 times 1 plus 3 is what? 4 times 2 plus 3 equals what? 4 times 3 plus 3 equals what, right? I'm going to kind of keep playing this game. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 3 is a 7. I don't want that because it's supposed to end in a 5. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. I don't want that because it's supposed to end in a 5. 4 times 3 is how much? 12. Plus 3? 15. Hey, look, that ends in a 5. Okay. So look, y'all, we're going to put a 3 right here. Okay. So look, we're going to keep playing this game. So we go 4 times 3 is 12 plus 3 is 15. So I'm going to carry that 1 right there. Okay. Now, what's 4 times 4? 4 times 4? 16 plus 1 more? 17. So right here in this blank, y'all, I'm going to put a 7. Okay. So far, are we doing okay? All right. So look, let me clear these guys out because I'm going to do multiplication again. So look, 7 times 8 is how much? 7 times 8? 56. Look, here's the 6. Let's carry the 5. 7 times 3 is 21 plus 5 more? 26. Carry the 2. 7 times 4 is 28 plus 2 more? 30. There it is. Okay. So look, let me get rid of these guys because I'm going to have to carry again. Okay. 5 times 8 is 40. Look, there's the 0. Let's carry the 4. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 4 more? 19. Okay, carry the 1. 4 times 5? 21. Look, here's the 1. There's my 2. Now, I'm just going to add down. Look, 2 right here. 5 and 6 is going to give me an 11, so I'm going to carry the 1 right there. 1 and 7 is 8. 8 and 6 is 14. Here's my 4. I'm going to carry the 1 right there. Let's see. 9 and 1 is 10, and 1 more is 11. I'm going to carry my 1 right there. And 1, 3, and 1 is 5, and then here's my 2. So what numbers am I going to put? I'm going to put a 3, a 7, a 6, a 2, and a 1. Does that make sense how we're able to go through it? Okay, so let's try that, you guys. Let's make sure we're doing this right. We said we're going to put a 3 right here. We were going to put a 7 and a 6. So let's try a 7 right there and a 6 right here. And then I think right there we had a 2. And then on the bottom we had a 1. So let me try putting that 1 right there. I'm going to chickadee check, and we got it. Good question. Excellent question. But again, y'all, one thing I want to mention on how was my approach on how to do this problem was I knew I was going to multiply 4 times something, and then we were going to have to carry that 3. So we're going to say 4 times something plus 3, and we knew it needed to end in a 5. So I just started going down the list. Okay, 4 times 1 plus 3, that's not going to work. 4 times 2 plus 3, okay, that's not going to work. 4 times 3 plus 3, okay, there it worked. Guys, the worst case scenario that would end up happening was I would end up having to go all the way to 4 times 9, right? I mean, I guess it could be a 0 too, but that's going to be the worst case scenario, right? But I'm trying to do this in like a systematic approach. I don't want to just kind of like, well, let me try 4, let me try 9, let me try 2, like, because then I'm just jumping all over the place. And to me, it's a lot easier if I just kind of go one at a time. Good question, good question. Let's see. Any other questions anybody has out of the review, y'all? Anything anybody wants to ask? Number 36, let's try 36. Okay, so I got 36 right here. Let me go ahead, similar question, and we will do it to it. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Okay, copy this guy, and también let's paste it right here. Okay, so it says, perform each of the following operations, excuse me, using the bases shown. So we have 43 base 5 minus 14 base 5. Okay, so look, y'all, this is what we're going to do. We're subtracting here. Now, we're in base 5. So remember, y'all, when we're borrowing, we're not really borrowing a 1. We're really borrowing a 5, okay? So first thing is I'm trying to take away 4 from 3, and I can't do that. So I'm going to borrow from this 4. That's going to become a 3. But remember, the value that I'm borrowing is not really a 1. I'm really borrowing a 5. So if I'm really borrowing a 5, I'm really adding those numbers together. 5 and 3 is going to give me an 8, right? So now what's 8 minus 4? 4. And now we can say 3 minus 1 is 2. So my answer is 2, 4, base 5, okay? So look, let's make sure that that one's working out. So I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to type in 2, 4, base 5. Okay, so far we're doing okay. It's just regular subtraction. The only thing you got to remember is that when you're in different bases, you're not borrowing a 1. You're borrowing whatever base you're dealing with, right? So look, let's try part B. We're going to do it the same way. So look, we have 2, 2 base 5 minus 1, 4 base 5. Again, y'all, I can't take away 4 from 2. So I'm going to borrow from here. That's going to become a 1. Since I'm in base 5, I'm not really borrowing a 1. I'm really borrowing a 5. So look, 5 and 2, everybody agree that's going to give me a 7? So what's 7 minus 4? 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer should just be 3 base 5. Okay, because I'm in base 5. So right here, you guys, I'm just going to write the number 3. I'm going to go check. Okay, we're doing good so far. Now we have one last one. We're in base 2 now. Okay, so look, we're in base 2. So let me write this out here. I got 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm in base 2 minus 1, 1, 0. Okay, I'm in base 2. And again, we're subtracting here. So look, this is what we're going to do. 1 minus 0 is 1. Now, I can't take anything away from, I can't take away 1 when I have zeros. So look, y'all, when I take away from there, what I really have here, y'all, is a 2. But again, I got to keep doing that same borrowing game. So I'm going to borrow again. What I really have here is a 2. But I'm going to borrow again. And what I really have here is a 2. So 2 minus 1 gives me 1. 1 minus 1 gives me 0. 1 minus 0 gives me 1. So my answer should be 1, 0, 1, 1, base 2. So I'm going to come back to my problem, and I'm going to put, I'm sorry, I already forgot what it was. 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay. 1, 0, 1, 1, and base 2. I'm going to check my answer, and we got it. Okay. And that's how I'm going to do every one of those types of problems, right? When I'm dealing with numbers in different bases. Okay. Any other questions anyone has out of the review? Anything? 37. Let's take a look at 37. Okay, I haven't done this one either. Okay, let's take a look at 37. Let me do a little copy and a little paste. Okay, let's try this. You know what, I'll just copy this part, and then we can enter in our answers. So let's try 37 here, you guys. Okay, let's paste it. Okay, it says, perform each of the following operations. Okay, so what do we know? We know that 2 cups is a pint, 2 pints is a quart, and 4 quarts is 1 gallon. Okay, so y'all, when we're doing part A, we can probably do the first piece already, because 1 cup minus 1 cup is going to give me no cups, right? But look, let's change this quarts here. Let's leave 1 quart there. Quarts into pints is the same thing. 1 quart is the same thing as 2 pints. So right here, y'all, I'm going to put 2 pints, okay? And again, we're subtracting 2 pints minus 1 pint would still be 1 pint, and that would still give me 1 quart. So for my first one, I should have 1 quart, 1 pint, and no cups. So look, let's check our answer. Let's see if that part works out. 1 quart, 1 pint, and in my case, I had no cups. I'm going to go chickadee check. Okay, we got the first one done. All right, let's do the second one now. Okay, let's see if we can do the second part. So again, I can't take away 2 cups, y'all, when I only have 1. So look, I'm going to borrow from the quart here. Okay, now guys, I'm actually going to write it. I'm actually going to do it this way. Sorry, I just realized something. I got 1 gallon here. I have 2 quarts here. 2 quarts here. It doesn't give me a thing for pints. So I know that I don't have any pints, and then I have 1 cup. And then right here, you guys, I'm going to put 4 quarts. Again, I don't have any pints here as well, but I have 2 cups, okay? I'm actually going to write it this way because now at least I have everything kind of lined up. Okay, so like I said before, I'm going to borrow from the quarts. So that's going to leave me with 1 quart. But I know that 1 quart is the same thing as 2 pints, okay? Now, just like we did before, y'all, I'm going to borrow from the pints. If I borrow from the pints, okay, if I borrow 1 pint is the same thing as 2 cups. Well, I've already have a cup here. Doesn't that give me a total of 3 cups now? And now we can subtract. So look, 3 minus 2 is going to give me 1 cup. Now, 1 pint minus no pints is still going to leave me with 1 pint, right? Okay. Y'all, I can't take away 1 quart when I only have 4. So I'm going to borrow over here. Okay, now I have no gallons. But let's see, we know that 1 gallon is the same thing as 4 quarts. So wouldn't that give me a total of 5 quarts now? Because the 4 quarts plus the 1 that I have there is 5. So 5 minus 4 is going to leave me with 1 quart. So I should have 1 quart, 1 pint, and 1 cup. Okay. So look, let's come back over here. I have no gallons. We have 1 quart, 1 pint, and was it also 1 cup? Yeah, 1 cup. And I'm going to check, and we got it. Okay. Excellent question. Any other questions, y'all, about anything? Which one? 20. Let's take a look at 20. Okay, here's 20. Let's go similar question. Okay, so y'all, let's take a look here, and it says, what's the set A? So think about this, y'all. The set A says, what are the letters inside this circle? Anybody know the letters inside that circle? The letters inside the circle A? Yeah, Y, W, E, X, and T. So all I'm going to do right here, y'all, let's go Y, W, E, X, and T, and I'm done. Easy breezy cover girl, right? There you go, you got it. Hmm? 11. Let's take a look at number 11. Of course, let's come over here, number 11, y'all. Okay, let me go ahead and hit similar question. Okay. So again, y'all, it says if Q stands for the dog is big and R stands for lazy dogs do not play, then write each of the following in symbolic form. Okay, so the dog is big. That would be the letter Q. Okay, so guys, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for, okay, do any of these have the letter Q in the beginning? Well, it looks like A, B, and C have a Q in the beginning. Some of them have that little symbol there, but they all have that part. Let's see. R stands for lazy dogs do not play. So look, y'all, this part here is asking me for the and. So remember, you guys, the and is the conjunction. Conjunction, I want to say, here we go. If you look right here, guys, in the notes, it says conjunctions. Oops. Conjunctions means the word and, right? And what's the symbol for and? The little arrow pointing up, right? So I'm going to come back over here and say, look, this is the one that has the arrow pointing up. My answer is going to be B because it is the dog is big, which is Q, and lazy dogs do not play. Oops, let me zoom out here. I'm going to go check my answer. Okay. Now, we're going to look at part B. Lazy dogs do not play. That's the letter R. Or the dog is not big. Okay. So look, y'all, I'm going to scroll back to my, scroll back to my notes. Disjunction is the word or. Or is the one that has like the down arrow or the V. Okay. So look, let me come back to my problem. Okay. And I'm looking for the one that has the V. So I have two that have a V. I have either B or I got D. Those are my two choices. Let's see. Lazy dogs do not play. That's the letter R. Or the dog is not big. Well, if Q stands for the dog is big, then not Q would be the dog is not big. So that would give me choice D, right? So I'm going to check right there. And again, all I'm doing, y'all, is I'm looking for, is this an and statement? Is this an or statement? You know, what does it happen to be? Okay. So look at the next one. It says, it is false. It is false is already telling me I'm going to negate something. That both the dog is big and lazy dogs do not play. So again, I'm looking at an and, y'all, is the up arrow. Since the negation is coming at the very beginning, I'm going to put the negation right here, y'all, at the very beginning. Okay. It is false because it's that negation at the very beginning right there. Okay. And then the dog is not big. So look, if Q stands for the dog is big, then the dog is not big would be not Q, right? And again, I'm just going to check my answer as I go through. So that's really what I'm looking for. So again, y'all, one thing I would encourage y'all to do is, again, when you're taking your test, go back to the notes, right? Have those chapter 2 notes or chapter 1 notes or chapter 3 notes close by so that you can refer to them as you need them, okay? Because that's going to help me out so much. Like, how do I know if it's an and or an or? Or which is the symbol for an and or an or? An or statement has the V, right? Conjunctions are and. Those are the ones that have the little pointy arrow going up. Good questions. Any other ones that anybody wants to ask about anything? Going once, going twice. All right, so guys, let me go ahead and stop hitting record if we don't have any other questions, unless anybody does. Okay, let me go ahead and stop hitting record then.